Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Living in Faith in Today's World. I'm your host, Mark Russell, and I think we got everything kind of running here and rocking a little bit. Push all the buttons and make sure that the background's going. Well, a very powerful week. Blessings, everybody. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm not a teacher or anything. I'm just simply somebody kind of sharing a little bit of the journey, hoping that it may comfort or help somebody, or at least um, make us not feel so alone out there. So I'm just sharing, and by all means, hopefully you share around. As always, Living in Faith in Today's World has a Facebook group or my page. You're welcome to stop by and join it. Um, just a couple of quick things I wanted to share that I thought were very poignant for me this week, and I hope it helps somebody out there. Um, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been feeling it with everything moving so quick. It seems like Hazatan is just taking out all the stops with so many agendas going on and elections and prime ministers here in Canada for us and for the American brothers and sisters. Of course, you've got your hands absolutely full. Um, Numerous things. I've been posting around on my page and in the groups. Um, so much activity happening, and it can be kind of overwhelming. Um, but for me, I wanted also to kind of share the other side of things, and that's why tonight I kind of just named this comfort, um, because it is. It's our perception and what we're going to do with what comes at us, um, that counts. This is our abilities of what we're going to do with it that matters. Do we let the fear trigger? Do we let the surroundings interfere with us, or do we actually trust in things? Do we believe in what we say? Do we believe in our walk? Do we believe in it enough to actually show it and have it become part of us, that these things don't create the fear in us, and that we're absolutely able to stand steadfast in Yeshua and in the Word and show it to others and maybe give some comfort and some reassurance and some guidance as a result. So I did want to share um, kind of a bit of a blessing that I feel very strong yesterday, and kind of got me on to the topic of tonight. As part of mine and Karen's journey here last year, we exited out of the cities, and a big part of it is to separate ourselves and so forth, and a good part of it is also preparing for what's coming. And a lot of it was we were just it just so naturally fell into us, and this is much more my lifestyle and so forth anyway. But as a result of that, a great amount of what's been going on has been, let me switch over the screens if I can get a hold of it here, is we've had an awful lot of work just to do with the property. And one of my mainstays over this couple of weeks and probably the summer is just getting it cleaned up, brush and so forth. So trailer loads of tree limbs and trees and removals for stuff have got to go out to. We got a good little fire pit out there, and so yesterday we had our night fire, and it was a beautiful afternoon after rain on the first. But then it just got really wacky for about an hour, and at one point, and I wanted to share this because I know a lot of people aren't connected with me on Facebook and so forth, but Um, I wanted to share these. I posted them up on there yesterday, so for those who have already seen it, I apologize. I'll be quick. This was just we're working away and everything else, and just the way that the week has gone, and all the news stories and everything else, and it was just, I was just immersing myself into the work and just enjoying being outside and so forth. And it was like all of a sudden, in a 15-minute period, we're seeing the moon on the left of us. We face south, so we got the moon on the left of us, the sun on the right of us. Then up on the valley hill, we see lightning, and over behind us, we've got the black skies like crazy. And then you span over to the other 180 degrees, and we come across an absolute great rainbow that's sitting there with the skies breaking out. And even if you can tell a little bit of it, we had a little bit of a double one here. It was just kind of an unbelievable go of things. This was the other shot in front of us. You get a little better tickle of the double rainbow there at the tree side. So there's our little fire pit down in the center there. If you can see it, I didn't blow anything up too drastically or anything. Um, but just a stunning um, go for us the last couple of days. Arched right across the whole hills, and just a couple of shots there to share with you. Um, but it just really settled me down into, geez, just how great everything really is, and how powerful, um, and how blessed that we are in this creation, and how blessed we can be by the Father as well if we choose to see it and take those moments. And I'm thankful all the time. So I just wanted to quickly share that, and hopefully you can take a few minutes, because every day we have something that is blessing us if we will take the effort to see it. But for me, a couple of the things that happened this week. One was I was in our Torah study. Anybody who's seen the other shows and so forth, I've expressed that I'm following MTOI and Rabbi Steve. I've committed myself to that for the next at least a year. I believe it'll be a much longer by the end of it. But I've decided that it was not only proper but well timed to settle down and be discipled within inside of something that I discerned and wanted to give a chance for my own growth in Yahweh and Yeshua, and to have discipleship, and to have some solid direction, um, and a place to be centered out of. Um, and that really came to one of the first fruitions for me this week, as we were in our Torah study on Tuesday night, which is totally open to everybody. You can go to mtoi.org, and it's open to everybody to participate in and so forth. So I encourage anybody who wants to definitely stop by and see what happens. But a little subject came up through the discussion after the Torah. We always have an open discussion about the lesson, and sometimes it spills over to a couple of other things. And one of the things that did come up was a little bit of a conflict for me. And I asked the question, and Steve spends the time through the Torah study to ask the questions not only about the lesson but some of the things that come up. Some of them are off topic of the lesson. So, he directed me to this is something that we need to talk about. And so I sent off an email right after our study was done. And I'm sitting there after, and I'm laying down at night, and I do my prayer, and I'm all of a sudden realized I was at peace. I wasn't anxious, and I wasn't antsy, and I wasn't searching uh, for answers, which is for me, anybody who knows me, um, is definitely not as a norm in character. Um, I'm always trying to look further and deeper, and what about this, and five different angles, and what if, sometimes it can be just overwhelming with how many sides I see things at. And I was actually noticeably surprised that I was just at peace with this. This is something that, you know what, I had decided to come under a covering of discipleship. I had made a discerning, logical decision to do it. I took my time to decide to do it, and something came across the table. I felt I still did my responsibilities by trying to learn, trying to grow, recognize what I may be doing wrong, and then step up and ask the questions of my leadership, my next people up, the people that I'm counting on discipleship from, to ask the question and then wait for my answer. And I was so pleasantly surprised that this was just like a natural process. It was just calm. It was actually invigorating. It was pleasant to be able to recognize something that may be out of tune with what I'm doing, something that might not be proper in the walk, and having somebody to go and seek counsel over that and be directed. Instead of sitting here and going, okay, I need to find the 10 versions of books, and what should I punch in here to find the answers, and get the 15 different directions um, about which way to go with something. So that was the first thing that I really noticed this week, in that kind of comforting part of when you step up and do what you're supposed to do, that it spills over. It comes back, and it comes back in that shalom, and it comes back in that peace. And it still means you have to do your part, I believe. You have to be aware of what you're doing. You have to be analyzing. You have to be looking in the mirror, and you have to be willing to ask the questions and be willing to adjust to it. But if you do that, then you've done your part. Now it's up to the others, and it's up to Yahweh to answer you, and then up to you to accept that answer or non-answer, whatever it is. But it's a peaceful way of doing things. I totally found. The second thing I wanted to kind of touch base on, and it almost just also really clarified that part of it, and some of the other things that were some of my beliefs, and I was wondering if I was kind of wrong and hadn't had the opportunity to ask yet, was, the Sabbath teachings the last few weeks have been on the Ruach, and that whole subject. We're into the third and fourth part for next week. Last Sabbath was fairly intense. It was it hit an awful lot of people. Uh, probably because of their indoctrination or their belief systems that they've kind of got a deprogram from. I can recognize that. I think I'm fortunate that I didn't have it. Um, but there was a lot of heavy discussion back and forth because again, Steve opens it up at the end of the lesson portion and discuss things, and has a Q&A period, which you won't find anywhere else, at least I've never have. Um, so there was a lot of interaction there. And there was one point, and I'm not quoting verbatim, just the gist of it and what I took from it. So you can go back to the M2I YouTube channel, and you can always see the full Sabbath viewing for that. They're always put up. So this is my what I took away from the comment and so forth. I'm not quoting. Um, but basically the biggest gist of it for me was that there's some really deep and hard questions that are being asked, and everybody at different levels and so forth. But when it comes down to it too, there's going to be things that we don't have the answers to. You won't figure them out. The answers are not there. We're not the creator. We're we're just not going to know. And this is where our faith and our trust and our core comes into fact. Do we take comfort in what we basically believe in the foundations with strong roots to things and so forth, or are we going to pick away at things? And that was the second part of what I really took from Steve, and it's part of what my discernment of joining them is are these things helping you in your walk today? Are they going to make a difference in your life today? These questions and these situations that we're coming across between brother and sister and conversations and so forth. Um, are they just arguments? Are they just battles over things? That we turn around and find out, well, they're all wrong because of translations, or this is these things are just totally being dismissed, and you're making a whole doctrine on one verse, and blah 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 blah, and back and forth and 500 things. And in the meantime, you sit back and at least for me, I spent months looking at people doing this, and I still am. Um, like, where's your walk in this? Like, I don't recall reading anywhere yet where Jesus went into every town and went knocking on people's door and went, you're saying this wrong and you're doing this wrong, and don't walk over here, and you looked at that person the wrong way, and like I didn't see Yeshua's walk by what I'm being reading, that this is how he interacted and how he was and and how he taught. I don't understand half of the time these interactions that we're having and I'm seeing around us. Um, you know what? Maybe it's true. I was listening to an interview from the creator of the Drudge Report. Um, Anybody who doesn't know, you can punch it in. It's a fairly well-known alternative media, probably the biggest out there that's ever existed. Um, and he said, no, we're not on Facebook. It's the Walmart of the internet. And, maybe that's true to a certain extent. But thank goodness for it, as far as I'm concerned. I get an awful lot and have always gotten a lot. But it also says, are we not paying attention? Are we not really getting anywhere? And where is our peace in Yeshua? Where is our shalom? Where is our comfort if what we're doing is just going around to a number of different groups or going around to each other and slamming scriptures and slamming behaviors and so forth? I thought kind of the point was showing our walk and showing a transformation in us. Are we being more like our Savior, our King? Are we being more like Yeshua every day, or are we not? And hearing hearing Steve kind of um, refer to us not being able to know everything, and does these things really affect our walk, or don't they? Are they great things to know, and are they all of this fine? Yes, but at the end of the day, if it's causing a conflict and it's going somewhere, or it's not an answerable thing and it's got to be put up on a shelf, these are things we get to ask when our millennium comes, when we get to sit with our Creator, and we'll have a book of questions and we'll have the answers. But until then, do we take the comfort in our Savior? Do we take our comfort in the Father? Do we find our comfort in our brothers and sisters? Do we take comfort in walking a little bit more of the walk every day and transforming ourselves? I hope so. Till next time, I'll leave it with that. May Yahweh have great blessings with you. May He hear your cries, wipe your tears. May He hear your prayers. May He give you shalom.